2, and 1. Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of ArmTalk. I'm your host, Jody Williams. I got my man back in the saddle once again, Mr. Uncle John. Uncle, how are we doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing well. I just finished up training session number 2, where we're winding things down on our way to ArmGods here, just kind of getting into that rest and relaxation mode. A lot of blood in the muscles now, and that's the nice thing. I'm just finishing a 12-week training camp. I was actually training before I even knew this match was going to happen.
Oh, okay.
And it would just so happen that I started to be able to train again. And so I've been training hard for 12 weeks, like hard training for 12 weeks. So I am not the same Uncle John that you saw last December. I'll tell you that. I'm significantly heavier.
No, well, I did see a picture and I saw it. I was like going, dude, with them shoulders, like what is going on over there? What are you weighing at now?
Yeah, well, last time I looked at the scale, it was about 242. And that was a couple weeks ago.
You for real?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been consistently so I'll give you the lowdown on what happened. So at the beginning of this year, it was like February. I went out to Saskatchewan, pulled a super match there, and I got back, and my back was just raging inferno of pain, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And really, it got to a point where like I couldn't get up like to go to the bathroom in the night. I was like crawling to get to the bathroom. Wow. So I couldn't train. I couldn't do anything for like, I don't know. So from February, March, April, May, June. So like 4 months, 3.5, 4 months, I could do nothing. And then I finally, after waiting for like almost a year, got in to see the pain specialist in Nova Scotia. And he started giving me all these shots in my back of cortisone and something called Marcaine, which is like a numbing agent. And as soon as I started getting those, I was able to train again. And so I got on. I was a little bit heavy. I was probably like 225, 230 at that point, just from I hadn't done anything for a very, very long time.
Right.
And so I was like super pumped to just start lifting again and get back into it. But I just, I had been in a caloric deficit before that for like 3 years. Caloric deficit for 3 years. That's how I was at 200 pounds, right? 200 pounds is not normal for me. That's right. hard dieting. And then I went to 220, stayed there. I can manage 220 pretty well, but I really wanted to, like, I looked back. We were talking a little bit about this before, but I looked back at where I was lacking in before my back really took over. And it was always high end power, right? I've always got the endurance. I've got good hand position, hand control, but that high end power is something that's always been a little bit elusive to me. So basically I talked to my guy, Mizell, and what we did was I was on the same diet that I was on when I was cutting, except It was 3,500 to 4,000 calories of that diet per day. So chicken, rice, a little bit of ground beef, eggs, some plain bread in the morning, and some fruits and vegetables as needed. Now, I'm not talking bodybuilder consistent. I still had a little treat now and again, but that really, really helped me get some significant good power and size on over the last 3 months. Like I'm strongest I've ever been ever in my career right now. So
that's scary for your opponent because the Uncle John we all saw last, it was almost like you had the mental game down pat. You can get in someone's head very, very easily. Mm-hmm. And you already had that battle won, which means, okay, well, I don't have to try as hard and this is just coming from me. Mm-hmm. You don't have to try as hard when you got the mental aspect done. It's almost like Devin to a certain degree. Mm-hmm. Once you got the mental game, you don't have to do a whole lot, and if you have to, so be it. But You're always that guy. Now, fast forward since December, here you are like going, okay, I'm 240-ish, whatever, give or take. And I saw that picture. You had the tank top on. I'm thinking, damn. I'm like, okay. Now we know Uncle John's been kind of hiding. All of a sudden he's coming out looking like, Don Morocco. Like, okay,
Well, that's kind of been the goal, and is to, I watched, I really didn't know what was going to happen with my back and whatnot. And so you kind of, when you're searching for some kind of motivation or something like that, and you watch all these like inspirational videos, like David Goggins and, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they're like giving these epic speeches and stuff like that. And I kind of just utilize those to put the pain aside a little bit and tried to use some of those mental games on myself in order to really push hard, really, 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 really push to a different level. And I gotta say, like, I'm probably gonna push hard and just like stay within striking distance of 242. I don't plan to go and be a super heavyweight, until Washington State's, where I am possibly going to have a pretty big match that Tim is trying to set up. It's not confirmed at this time.
Oh, hold the phone.
Yep.
Time out. Mm-hmm. You're coming to Washington State this year?
Yep.
Can I put my head through this glass window right now? I had no idea you were coming.
Well, Tim and I talked about it briefly when I was in Arizona, because I went and did the Arizona thing, and that was awesome. And then based on those results, I was like, Tim kind of asked me, well, do you want to come to Washington State? So I'm like, yep, because now it's only going to cost like, $300 to fly out there instead of $1,000.
Right.
And I said, yeah, why don't you give me a match? And he came up with a pretty intense name. That's probably, I'll tell you once we're off air. I'll tell you, but it's going to be a tough match for me. So I'm going to push really, really hard until that December, December 2nd, 2nd, really hard up until then. And then I'm going to hopefully try to go back down to like 220 and maintain most of what I've created. Marcus, what's up, buddy?
My man, Mr. Aaron Myers is in the house. Phil Woody's in the house. Welcome, everybody. Yeah. John, do you understand how long man, you and I have been on this collision course for a long time.
I know.
It's almost like, okay, it's WCW, it's Sting and Hogan. When is it going to happen?
Yeah.
And like I had no idea, because I already have a match.
Yeah.
And I'm like going, okay, I had no idea you were coming. If I would have known you were going to come, I would have been like, Tim, book it. Book it right now. So now it's like, okay.
Well, we will be ships passing in the night in December. And I do feel confident. I don't know if you've heard or not, but I'm going with Neil to Florida at the end of October, Neil Pickup, and we're getting stem cell treatment. I'm getting stem cells shoved in my back. So I am very hopeful and confident that I will be back at Arm Wars for multiple events next year. So maybe that's something we tell Neil, maybe,
All I'm saying is that I gotta, honor my. I have 2 more matches left before we, I got one last thing to say before we kick in this ArmGods event. So I'm gonna honor my events that I have left.
Yep.
I got one in Canada coming up October 7th. I'll be there, and then of course Washington State. You and I will be there.
Yep.
Separate matches, but we'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was one match I really been wanting for the last we've been talking about us pulling how long now?
Oh, well over a year, probably 2 years.
Right. And so it's like it got to happen. I knew we were supposed to clash at Iron House 2 back in the spring.
Yeah.
You couldn't make it. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe. And then I couldn't make Arizona State.
Right.
Which was funny because I was in goddamn fucking Phoenix the weekend Arizona State was going on, but I was on family vacation. So once again, here we go. Chips passing the night, right? So can you imagine the storybook? Like, okay, the elephants in the room, Uncle John, Chocolate Thunder. Why the fuck are we not making this match happen? It's because we need to get the planets like that. So
it's all about the build. It's all about the build.
We'll have to figure it out. Now then, ArmGods number 2.
Yes.
Now, the first one I saw, it was nice.
Fun. It was very fun.
I almost had a stroke with all the lights going on during the match, but
me too.
It was awesome. I mean, the production was top notch. I like what they had to offer, and I like the theme this time around. Hey, it's Canada's best versus UK's best, right? What better person to bring you on the show than to bring you, because you can break it down because you've been there before.
Yeah.
So tell everybody out there what to expect coming up next weekend.
So
wait, is that tomorrow? No, it's next weekend, right?
Next weekend. So I'm flying out on Wednesday. It's right next to Ottawa in Gatineau. You have Ottawa, Gatineau, so it's right in that area. There's tons of arm wrestlers. So I'll say this, number one. All you arm wrestlers, all you Dirty Bird arm wrestlers in Quebec and in Ontario, get on it, boys. Go to ArmGods.com. That's where you can get the tickets. Super cheap. You get you in the door. There's going to be booze. There's going to be partying. There's going to be it's an event that's, got me and Evan Burgoyne. It's going to be ridiculous, first off. So I want to see all of these Quebecers who never leave their province and they all talk so big. I want to see every single one of them there, because guess what, boys? I'm going to go through my match 3-0, and then I've got a lot more pulling left in me.
Quebec, so you're not talking about Gabi, are you?
Well, I don't know about that. Look, I don't want to get involved in any of that nonsense, but who knows? If Gabi shows up, then there's definitely going to be some fireworks, because I think Evans is going to boot him over the field goal post. So, ArmGods.com. That's where the whole thing will be. ArmGods.com. You can get your tickets there. And if you're not going to be in the area, that's where you can get the pay-per-view. And it's not even like pay-per-view per se. You just have to become a member. $5 a month, I think it is. And you get all sorts of crazy content, all sorts of things. So get on there. And let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 matches. 14 matches, Canada versus the UK. Now,
when does it kick off? Because if you got 14 matches, don't be starting that thing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon local time.
I don't exactly know the timing of everything yet, but it's a party event. So I have a feeling that the way they run, the thing that's interesting about ArmGods is that ArmGods is designed to be a shit show. Okay. Yeah. It is intended to be a shit show. It will be a shit show. And Marcus Thompson says 7 p.m. Eastern time. So being that it's designed to be that, they're very smart, and they always bring in very good referees. The referees are not part of the shit show. The referees are there to make sure the matches happen. They understand that there's going to be some theatrics and some nonsense, but really, of all the craziness that I saw at Valhalla 1 in Ireland earlier this year, there was no problems with the referees. I thought every single match on the card was refereed very, very well.
I like that, if I can say this, I like that even though the event is going to cater to a little bit of, craziness, the refs kept everyone in check. It didn't get too, we're talking Judy, world-renowned referee. She ain't going to take nobody's garbage. So
no, and she didn't. And I think the referees, they always play it very, very fairly. They let people do it because they know the nonsense. But when it comes down to it, we got to have a match at the end of the day. So expect very succinct. Things will be moving very quickly. But as the night moves, the temperature only goes one direction, and that is up, because there's going to be a very, very hot kickoff. I'm pretty sure Marcus can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the first 3 matches are Evan Burgoyne versus James Beach. Then Rob Frampton versus Big B. That's on the right arm. So Big B is going to be looking to get revenge for me. I lost. You guys might remember I lost to Rob Frampton 4-2 at Arm Wars about this time last year. And then the third match will be myself and Scotty James, otherwise known as the Candyman. Now, that's what the beer man told me. So I don't know if that's true or not.
Scotty Too Hottie. All right.
Mm-hmm. So let's just get this out of the way first. If you are looking to see a match where Uncle John is embarrassed and put to the pad, well, you are not going to get it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the classic. Look, these UK guys, God bless them. They're a brave, dumb bunch. I will tell you that. But you know what this is going to be? This will be a perfect example for all of the viewers out there to really understand what happens when an amateur takes on a professional. I've already defeated him. Okay. He's already saying, oh no, Uncle John's on steroids. Oh, I'm natty. Oh, blah, 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 blah. He's already making excuses. And all I had to do was post one freaking picture. So I have no doubt in my mind that a little bit of razzle dazzle in the grip, a little bit of shenanigans, a couple false starts, he's going to be pissing his pants. He's going to be knocking his knees, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, unless I get real dicey and give him a match or two. Maybe I want to extend my quality TV time. I do like a little extra TV time, you know.
Well, here's the thing, John, because this is where you and I are on the same page, right?
Mm-hmm.
With an event like ArmGods, and one day I might be there. Who knows? You and I, who grew up watching WWE,
yeah.
Well, let's be real, WWF when we were growing up. But when you grew up watching that, you understand the psychology of it.
Yeah,
and you can take that psychology, depending on what kind of event is it, you know, and use that and go, okay, and get in your opponent's head. I mean, posting promos, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If Candyman's already freaking out and stuff, and, you know, I don't know. But, you know, the picture that you put out there, even I was just like, damn. I was like, damn, John, what the hell you been doing these days? my man's already fucked up. Sorry, my show is rated R. Dude's already fucked up in the head right now.
Well, that's part of the game, right? That is, you know, I will give Candyman this. He's a hell of a sport. He's putting stuff out there. He's actually pretty damn funny. He captured a sheep and put it in his car just to make a promo about the match. So I got to give him that. Like, I can only be so negative about the guy. That's work. That's work. He buckled him in and everything for safety.
What does he weigh?
He's like 6'5" and like 235, I think he said.
Ooh,
so he's very tall, has a very long arm. Theoretically, he is like my worst nightmare, right? He's got a longer arm than me. He's got an enormous hand, a hand that's probably bigger than mine, right? So, you know, he's got everything going for him, except for the fact that he is looking at, because here's the backstory with this match. So in January, I pulled the Vanilla Gorilla Mitch Tutt, right?
Yeah.
I beat him 3-1. And that was at Valhalla 1. I had flown to Ireland. I had gotten food poisoning the day before. I was puking my guts out, and I still walloped the guy, right?
They try to set you up, but see, now you're the home team.
Right? So now Scotty James, he took on Mitch Tutt, and he beat him a few months ago. And to his credit, he beat him 3-0. But they were some intense matches, right? They were very intense. They were long matches. It was a little bit back and forth. And you know, Scott won. So Scott, now he's like, he sees that gap can't be quite that far from what it is. Unfortunately for Scott, now, if I was the same guy that I was in January, maybe we'd have a match. Maybe we'd have a match. Unfortunately for Scott, I am like significantly more significant at this point in time. And don't think that's going to make it a bad match. What that's going to be is an entertaining match, because when I have full control, when I have the power to dictate where the match goes, we're going to go out, we're going to go in, we're going to maybe do a press, maybe we'll see a dad's move. Who knows where everything is going to go? But the fact of the matter is, I want everybody watching that match to understand that there is a difference between 2 years in the game and 12 years in the game, because it is different. It makes your arm powerful. Think about it. Marcus knows all that Diet 7-Up. Look, this is like this. He shouldn't be worrying about steroids. He should be worrying about the cool, refreshing taste of 7-Up Zero, because that
is that not a sponsor of yours?
Well, I hope they will be someday. Then
So,
I'll really know I
matches.
made it.
Let's break some down some of these matches if we can. 14 of them. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And I just see, and here's the thing, because the thing about ArmGods that a lot of people should understand, and we got a lot of ArmGods guys in the chat. Welcome to the show, of course. There's some ArmGods and Arm Wars crossovers. So if you follow one organization, you're familiar with the name as you do with the other, because they kind of cross like that.
Yeah.
So
quite a few, actually. Quite a few. Just off the cuff here, let's take a look at a couple of these. You know, Adrian Popescu, you pulled him. Bad,
I know dude, quite well.
Bad dude.
Yes,
he's taking on a guy by the name of Jamie Staken, who's from Ontario. Strong guy. Adrian's a bad dude, though. Like I have the ability to be very honest with these matches. I think Adrian is going to be a handful for.
Is that left or right?
Let me see here. That is left arm. Left arm. Okay. 5 kg.
That's his go-to, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. He's very strong, very smart, and coincidentally, another guy you know, Jason Hill. He's taking on Darrell Staken on the left arm. So you know both of those guys quite well. Rob Frampton versus Big B. That's a lot of meat at the table. Big B is a guy that, you know, he hasn't been in arm wrestling forever, but he is very strong, very powerful. Likewise, Rob Frampton, former competitor in the World's Strongest Man event, like a real legit dude. And he's been doing nothing but arm wrestling training for like the last 2 years, right? I can only imagine. I really want to grip up with him after to see how far he's come, because I don't like it was 4-2 in our match. Like, I don't think I can do anything with him now. He's just progressing and progressing. That's going to be an epic match. I hope that they catch each other inside and we see some real fireworks, because I'm telling you this, Rob's guys are going to be right behind Rob, and Big B's guys are going to be right behind Big B. And I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of mobbing at this event where people are in it, because ArmGods doesn't do it like most places, right? Most of the time you're up on a stage and like there's nobody around you. We are in the pit, right? We will be surrounded by the crowd. The people will just be everywhere. So it's like going to be a crazy atmosphere. It's going to be packed in there with blood and piss and beer and everything else. So very interesting match there. Big B and Rob Frampton could be a scene stealer, but this next one, even more of a scene stealer. Matt Smith versus Ted Wilson. All right, so these are the smaller guys, 75 kg.
Well, yeah, isn't Ted Wilson the elf? Is that what they call him?
The elf, Ted Wilson. You've seen him multiple times on Arm Wars.
I do.
He's been pulling for a million years. He's like 20-time UK champ, something like that. Very smart arm wrestler, very stubborn arm wrestler. He gets into these positions and he just doesn't want to die. He's taken on a guy by the name of Matt Smith. Matt Smith, if I was going to describe him, he is like Canada's Iron Horse. He's at every major tournament in Canada. He's always at nationals. He goes to worlds all the time. And he is just one of the most stubborn goddamn pullers that I've ever come across. And I think like this one has the potential to be one of the best matches on the card, because I think they're both going to be very close. I think they both also provide very specific difficulties for each other, right? They can go in different places that are going to cause a lot of problems for each guy. And man, there's nothing I love more than a couple of grizzled veterans of the sport. And they're both like, we have a WhatsApp group, right? And they're just, those two out of everybody, those two are the ones that are chirping at each other the most by far.
I'm telling you, because it's those wily veterans you got to look out for. Look out for.
That's where it's at. I'm telling you, it's interesting where arm wrestling is right now, because I think we actually are at the point where we have more fans than arm wrestlers. And I don't think that has ever been the case in the history of arm wrestling, right? There are people that they love arm wrestling. They want to watch arm wrestling. They want to be a part of it. And the one thing, if you're not in it and you haven't been in it, or if you're just brand new in it, it's hard to understand that time is the greatest ally in this sport. The longer you stay in, the more you pick up, the wilier you become. You can come into the sport very, very strong and have success right out of the gate. No doubt about it. But the longer you're in, it changes your body. There are things that happen to your tendons and your ligaments and your insertion points with your muscles that cannot be replicated anywhere else. In any other way. You have to arm wrestle to get that. And it's impossible to explain to people. It really is. If you take a 10-year arm wrestler versus a novice and you just look at pronation, it's like, I don't care who you are, right? Like, I took on Big Laws, one of the strongest humans on the planet. And all I needed was pronation. He was so freaking strong, so much stronger than me. But my pronation was stronger than his. And
I was just gonna bring that up because, and I'll use it as an example in those Arm Wars matches where you're taking on those, strong men. Yeah. And it was like, we all know just from the eye test. Yeah, I mean, they should be like, oh, if you didn't know anything about arm wrestling, you saw those guys and you see Uncle John. Oh, Uncle John's gonna get his shit handed to him.
Yeah.
And yes, if this was a bench press contest, deadlift or squatting, John would be like, you know what?
Murder.
I'm not gonna do it. Just take the fucking first place. However, this goes back to where it's like, you know what? Those guys are strong. You know it, you felt it. However, at that time, those guys weren't strong where they were supposed to be strong, or they don't know how to use that particular strength in this particular sport.
Very specific. And the only way you can figure out how to use it is by trial and error over and over and over again. Like, I'm 10 years in, 12 years in, and I'm still figuring out as we go, right? We were just talking about, what do you do when you start second guessing yourself? We've been pulling all these years and stuff just stops working sometimes because the game changes. Arm wrestling changes. If you go back 10 years and watch arm wrestling, mainstream arm wrestling, it looks very different from what we see today. Very different.
10 years ago, I think we're still using Velcro straps.
Velcro straps. And far fewer matches were going to straps. People would hang on to each other until the very end, right? Nobody does that anymore. Nobody does that anymore. So very, very interesting stuff. One more match. Sarah, what's up? Good to see you. talking about guys that have a lot of time in the sport, Craig Sanders, the Bullet, versus Nicola Gazzetto.
No, there's a name from the past.
Yeah. So Craig Sanders, he just arm wrestled on, was it Dark Card? And he pulled Mika Sakralidze. And they had an awesome match. Went full 7. Craig ended up winning that one. Nicola Gazzetto is probably a guy that most people don't know of. They aren't aware of him. But he's been in Canada for a long time. He's been pulling for a long time. And he's like a 28-time Italian champion, right? So he started out in Italy. He came over, and like, if there was anybody who hits with more intensity than Craig, it might be Nicola. Because Craig is fantastically fast, very brutal, very laser-like with his hits. He knows where he wants to go. He knows how to get there. Nicola is like the raging bull that's waiting to get out of his cage, right? He knows as soon as that ref says go, the cage is open, and he is coming across that pad as hard as he can. I think this is going to go one way or the other very quickly, but I have no idea which way it's going to go. And that's a big part of what makes me interested in that match. A couple of arm wrestling old guys, like guys that have just got a lot of years on their arm. They've been around the block a million times, and I have no idea what's going to happen. It's going to be pretty ridiculous, though.
Is it going to be one day, or are they going to break that up into 2 days?
1 day, one event, one monster event. And again, it's all at armgods.com. You can watch it right there. And here's the thing. It's not on YouTube. So it's on their own platform, which means we can do whatever the hell we want, right? We really have no restrictions. I can tell you this. Every arm wrestler will have his own entrance, right? So with theme music picked out, it can be copyright music because it's not on YouTube. It's going to be very high-end production quality. They're going to have a stage, the lights, the whole 9 yards. I think they're going to do like the press conference on YouTube probably. So everybody can get an idea of what it's going to look like. I'll be going on Wednesday, and Jake Ward, Aussie arm wrestler, he'll be there as well because he's coming straight from Dubai. And so we're going to be making videos throughout that last part of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, nonstop. So we're hoping to make all those videos, and there's a bunch of guys from the chat. Spermies is going to be there. Phil Woody, he's going to be there. A bunch of guys are coming over. So we're going to be getting some of these names, and we're going to be putting faces to the names online.
What does it mean? Because Spermies asked me a question. What does it mean, make me a mod so everyone can see me? What exactly does that mean?
Oh, so if you go on YouTube in the chat and you right-click on his name, you can add him as a moderator, and then he can put in links and whatnot. It's helpful. It's very helpful.
Right-click. I'm trying to right-click it on. What is going on here?
Yeah.
You mean where it has the 3 dots?
Yeah, I think so. Try to left-click on the 3 dots, I think.
Put user in timeout, ban user, or delete. No, that's not it.
Well, maybe click on their name, possibly, or right-click on their name, maybe.
If I do, then no, that's not it. What if I have hit the star? What does that mean?
I don't know. Somebody in the chat, tell us step by step how to do this. I can't remember without actually seeing it.
But yes, Sarah, there's going to be Marcus Thompson, who is the Vince McMahon of ArmGods, said there'll be ladies matches down the road. So
Sarah's a very good candidate. I've seen her pull. She is good.
That's my younger sister.
Yeah, I'd love to see her in a nice ArmGods match. Very nice. Okay, so what we've talked about so far is just one half the card. we got 7 more matches on top of that, and really
they get juicier though.
They get juicier. They do get juicier. So the worst guy that the UK is bringing over, his name is Connor Sale. He looks like Sinead O'Connor. He's taking a guy by the name of Daniel Labrie. another match. I have no idea where it's going. Daniel Labrie, like, is a I don't know if he's an insane person or a madman of some kind, but he's whenever I hear him talking, he's talking about how he recently got out of prison. So Connor needs to tread lightly. I think Daniel may give him a little bit of a lesson on how to be a man in Get to Know, if you know what I mean. So that'll be interesting. The biggest match, not the biggest per se, but the heaviest match is Mindaugas Dulskis versus Rick Heidebrecht. Now we've seen,
even I got to speak on this because when you talk about the supers in Canada, you hear the Ian Carnegies, Ryan Espys. Yeah. I really don't consider Devin a super because he's like Plastic Man. He goes up and down.
Whatever he wants.
Rick Heidebrecht is another one. So, that's going to be interesting. And not only is Rick big, I mean, he lost a lot of weight for one, but he is so tall.
Oh,
like
dude
6'8". Is tall.
Yeah, he's like seriously tall. He's got an incredibly long arm, big hand on him. I give Mindaugas the power, but I give Rick a lot of the leverage advantage. If Rick can get, Mindaugas off of his game early on, Rick has a very, very good chance here. I honestly think if we go back and we look at Mindaugas has performed very, very well over the last years, but almost every match he has, he completely shits the bed in round one. He almost always loses round one. And I think Rick might be the type of guy that if he gets round one, it's going to be hard to stop him because he's a guy that likes that energy, gets that big snowball rolling down the hill. And once that Heidebrecht snowball gets going, it is very difficult to stop. Very, very difficult.
It's one of those matches where, when they say styles make matches, that right there speaks term. I mean, because Rick, obviously, we all agree that Mindy has the power.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question about that. Mm-hmm. But Rick can win this game without using any kind of power. If he can use that leverage to his advantage, then he don't need a whole lot of power. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if Rick has done his homework, he realizes that Mindaugas' favorite thing, he just sweeps across. He needs to sweep across, and he wants to jam the opponent so their arm kind of goes outside of their shoulder a little bit. And as soon as he secures that, Jesus, the guy is strong as an ox.
Isn't he the ArmGods? Isn't he the ArmGods champ?
So yeah, this is for the super heavyweight Commonwealth belt on the right arm. That's what this one is for. The Connor Sale versus Daniel Labrie match is the 75 kg Commonwealth belt. Then we'll move on to the next matches here. 110 kg Commonwealth belt, right arm. Elliot Eccles versus BLM, Brendan Lemon Mulvihill. Did you pull Elliot?
I did.
You did. He's a strong dude, eh?
There's matches at Arm Wars that I pulled at that will never see the light of day.
Right.
That's one of them.
Right.
And I'm telling you that, in my opinion, that Elliot Eccles guy is going to be the future. He's going to be the future face of our Arm Wars, in my opinion.
Yeah. I've heard nothing and seen nothing but very good things from him. I think he pulled Ray at the Battle in the Capitol.
Yeah.
I think he might have taken a loss to Ray, but Ray has been very, very good, very, very, very tricky lately.
And he's like 21 or 22 years old or something crazy like that.
Lord
I'm like,
almighty.
Dude. Whew, man.
So now BLM, his right hand is very, very impressive. BLM, his right, when it's on, like, get out the way because BLM has it and then some. However, I was on Beerman's channel the other night, and BLM does not seem very concerned about anything that's going on with this match. He's like, this is a pushover match. I'm going to murder this guy and send him packing. And that is what makes me nervous.
I'm gonna say this for BLM because I'm glad because he's the current champ. Yes.
Yes. So he won against James Wall,
right,
at the last event over across the pond,
and that in itself is like speaks volumes. Now, I'm telling you, don't underestimate Elliott because he's taller than James, right? Just his
totally
base.
different polar. Totally different polar.
It's different. So, I'm glad that BLM has that, confidence going. I mean, he's the champ. He should, right? But I'm telling you, don't oh, yeah, it's a walk in the park. BLM, if you're watching, which is probably not, please do not underestimate this guy. Because I'm telling you right now, man, don't do it. Don't do it.
This is one of those matches where I think for anybody that's out there watching this and sees this and they're like, okay, ArmGods, what it's all about, and you know some of the names, and maybe you don't know some of the names, right? This is an event that is very different on purpose from an East versus West or King of the Table. I love King of the Table. I like East versus West. This is how true arm wrestling fans, guys who want to really understand the game and really see who is rising, who the next generation of superstars is going to be, this is the event to watch. Okay. This is where these guys are being created. This is where we're going to look back 10 years from now and say, oh my God, do you remember Elliott freaking Eccles versus BLM? That was ridiculous. Because damn well something silly is going to happen. There's going to be a tent that falls down, or somebody's going to get a beer can on the head. And
there's always that. But Paul's not in the match, so I think we might be safe on that one.
Well, here's the thing. Paul is like Team UK coach, right? So Paul is going to be sticking his nose in every single match that he can. And Evan is kind of like the coach for Team Canada. So
they're the captains.
Already hate each other.
It's like the captains are like, it's like Survivor Series, and you got the captains. Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. So like it doesn't matter. I know that there's going to be absolute madness, and there's going to be like viral moment mania written all over this thing. So I cannot stress enough. Go to armgods.com, become a member. If for nothing else, it's $5. Become a member and see this and allow Valhalla 2 to prove to you that ArmGods is like, it's the thing, right? It's the one. If there's ever an event that like I'm thinking of, I've put more thought into what I'm doing at ArmGods from an entertainment perspective than ever in any arm wrestling match before, right? The entrance, how I'm going to present myself, the exit, it's all in the cards, ladies and gentlemen, and it is going to be something very, very special. Now, another match that could be very special, two guys that I know quite a bit about, Evan Burgoyne versus James Beach, 105 kgs. From what I've heard, this is not going to be a title match, but it's left arm. Evan,
what is that, 231?
So that's 231. Evan told me he's like 245 or something like that. So he's got to like do a water cut to get down there.
Just tell him to drink some distilled water. That'll come out easy.
Yeah, get it right out. I have no doubt that he will make it. But Evan is, for the first time in a while, like very confident. Like he sounds different when I talk to him, because Evan is Evan on the air, right? No matter what, he's one way. When I talk to him off the air, he sounds very different in a very scary way. I like James Beach a lot. I really like James Beach. I think James Beach might be in for some significant problems in this match, not just for the mental aspect, not just because Evan is a nutter, but because I think Evan's left hand is probably very stout and very strong right now. And
I love left-handers.
Man, it's party time in the big city. Now, the problem for Evan in that match is that James Beach is a specimen, right?
Yeah.
James Beach is like, in his 20s somewhere. Marcus, how old is James? But he's like, you bounce a quarter off his abs and he's like, he's fit, he's ready. He's been on weight for like a month probably, and he's just holding it there and getting as strong as he possibly can. So if Evan isn't where I think he is, he's going to have to do a lot of shenanigans in order to make that up. Because I can guarantee you, if any person on this card is going to be ready to pull, it's James Beach. That I would guess more than anyone else. If someone is ready mentally and physically from a training perspective, James Beach is probably the guy.
He's one of those guys, him and James Wall, where like, you pat somebody on the back, they're so damn stout that you pat somebody on the back and you dislocate a couple fingers. That's how stout they is,
Yeah.
It's kind of something like that. I have a question, since we got Marcus in the chat, and you're you're with the ArmGods guy. Is there like a ranking things going on? Because how do you decide who gets the title matches for the Commonwealth belt? I mean,
so I think that with these events that they're having, they're kind of forming that, and I think more so, Marcus, feel free to chime in because I don't know the true answer, but the feeling I get is they want to make the best matches.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
So it may not always be, guy who's theoretically number 2 goes against number 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you who I'm calling out after my match. I already know who it is. And I'm going to have a very specific, you know what? I'm going to bring a contract to the event.
Is that a secret?
This is the first time I'm saying it. I'm not telling the name. You got to go to armgods.com and watch the event, because when I win my match, I am calling out my opponent for March 17th. Yes, that's St. Patrick's Day in Ireland for Valhalla 3. And I'm going to make him sign that thing right then and there. Marcus, can we get that done? Can I get some official ArmGods contract letterhead? Hey. I want to sign it. I want to have it signed right then and there.
This is what you do, John. You put this on your YouTube, right? You get you and that individual on opposite ends of the table.
Yeah.
Marcus is in the middle, right? You sign. You're sitting up here. You're basically scribbling because you're not even looking. You look into his eyes while you sign. Give it to him. He takes it. They do that WWE.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then it's on for March 17th. That's how you do that. That's the ArmGods way of making that shit happen. You do something like that.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of fun to be had with ArmGods. And the thing I like most about Marcus and Paul is that the first thing they always say to me is, what do you want to do? How can we make it exciting? What do you want to do to make it exciting? And, I'm really appreciative that they gave me this match that I have this time around, because when we booked this match, I was not 100% sure where I was going to be with my back and everything, right? I did not know. So I'm lucky to have this match. And so knowing that hopefully my back will continue to be okay with the pain, I will make this next one ridiculous. The game begins at Valhalla 2, and we are on the road to St. Paddy's Day Massacre in Carlingford, Ireland. And my opponent is not going to know what hit him.
March 17th, huh? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, believe it. It's going to be big. And if you think, I can't give too much away. I know some stuff about some things about the 17th as well, March 17th.
Right.
If you're liking this card, you're going to like that one even more. You're going to like, there's some very interesting things going on March 17th. Oh, juicy things. Yeah, for sure.
Because I always thought that the first one was like, wow. And then I was like I kept saying, I wonder when the next one is, but I get it. So.
Yeah. So I like the way they're doing things where they have these big events, like the Valhallas seem to me to be like the major events, and then they have, you know, events in the UK that are still big.
Yeah.
But they kind of help along and they get people ready to go to these next big events.
God forbid if Uncle John gets a title match and wins the belt. Like, oh, here we go. Because I already know here comes the Ric Flair. Here comes Uncle John in sunglasses cutting promos.
I might have to set aside a bit of my pay because you know I'm defacing that belt. You know I'm spray painting something on that belt the minute I get it. Spray paint's going on that thing. So I got to make that part of the contract. Yeah. So I'm very excited about the possibilities for ArmGods in the future. I like the thing with arm wrestling is I like arm wrestlers, right? Arm wrestlers are a weird group of people from the top to the bottom, to the left, to the right, the A to the Z. There's a little bit of everything. And most of the time, 99% of the time, I really like the guys. And ArmGods, I like them all. Paul Maiden, he can shove it, but every other person, they're awesome. So okay, Evan Burgoyne versus James Beach. There's three more matches, and they're all bangers, right? They're all.
I haven't heard Alan Ford's name. What the hell?
Mm-hmm. So I think these all have potential to be incredible. Number one, we'll go Curtis Cameron, Pork Chop, taking on probably one of the hugest guys that I've ever even heard of arm wrestling, James Stewart. Okay. James Stewart is apparently 6'8" and like 350 pounds or something like that. Like enormous. He's an enormous human.
What did you say? 6'8"?
Yeah.
And like over 3 bills?
Yeah.
And Pork Chop's taking on him?
Yeah. So the deal is Pork Chop has a little bit more time in the game. Pork Chop has a little bit more skill. He has a little bit more ability where maybe James does not. So I think it could be very interesting. And it's another one of these things where James is going to have long levers, but Pork Chop is obsessed with just tight inside, right, drive and smash. And if he can chop down that big tree, it's going to be very difficult for James to stay above water. But when you got a guy that's 6'8" and over 300 pounds, oh man, you can't just chop the thing down without thinking twice, right? That's a big ass tree.
If you're 6'8" and you're well over 300 pounds, that's a tall glass of water.
Dude, he's like, I looked at his picture. He was on like a live stream with me, and I'm like, oh, who's this bum? And then like I saw him like next to a doorway, and I'm like, excuse me, sir, I'd like to apologize for thinking negatively about you. I don't want any of that heat. None of that heat. So I'm super excited to meet James. And it's just one of those matches where it's like visually very interesting, right? Because Pork Chop is what, like 5'7" or something like that. Super short guy.
Pork Chop reminds me, because every country has that kind of guy that resembles another guy from a different country. So if it's Canada, it's Pork Chop. If it's the United States, it's Mega Mike.
Right.
You kind of have that guy, and in the UK, it might be, you know, James Beach. Who knows?
Yeah.
But everybody has that one guy that resembles another in some way, shape, or form, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So like Marcus said, Pork Chop probably is the favorite due to his time in the game, due to his training pedigree. But James is like a cannon, right? If it hits, it's going to destroy what it hits. The question is, can he find the right thing to aim at? Can he break through any defenses, any nonsense that Pork Chop gives him, and really get to his full level of power?
What would that do if James, right before the pregame match, like, what's your pregame meal, James? Pork chops. Wow. Right? You know what I'm saying?
You should be eating pork chops every single night. Every night.
You know what I mean? Honestly, it's almost like the sheep, you know? So it's like, oh, I mean pork chops, I mean pork ribs, pork rinds, whatever. You pork and beans, call it what you want.
So really interesting match there. Then we move on. Yes, Ireland. Carlingford, Ireland. Just the coolest. Like, if you think in your mind of like a small town in Ireland and you think of like all of the stereotypical stuff you would think of with bars and taverns and small streets and castles, it's all there. It's all there. It's like awesome, visually awesome. It's on the water. It's like, it's beautiful. And you know, we were there in January this past year, but now we're doing it on St. Paddy's Day in Ireland. So you know that this is going to be freaking ridiculous. It's going to be silly.
St. Paddy's Day, huh? Okay.
Yeah, St. Paddy's Day. It's going to be wild. So then we've got David Bradford, who I've got some history with, and John Terrian, the Savage.
Hey, that's my man. Terrian, that's my boy. That's my boy.
Right? One of my favorite pullers that has really come on over the last year and a bit, John Terrian. His right arm is immense, very powerful. Now, this is a right arm match. David Bradford, super strong right-handed, don't get me wrong, but I believe his left is significantly more dangerous than his right. However, David is a little bit heavier naturally, Terrian a little bit lighter naturally. So you're going to have a cut down Bradford going against a supersized John Terrian. And that is what makes this very interesting match.
And I pulled John Terrian at Arm Wars too. Little note this. I'm telling you, when I went there, Neil fed me to the wolves.
He does that. He does that.
He to the wolves. Had a good time though, but I mean, he put me through the ringer. But getting a taste of that, now I understand.
Yeah,
because and you know too, John. Like once you pulled in your country in numerous states, numerous provinces, that's one thing. But when you go across the ocean, across the pond, and compete there, the arm wrestling is just different.
Yeah.
And I never understood that. And when I went over there and got a bite of that apple, I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's a different scenario. It's a different location. It's different hands. It is very, very odd way of learning very quickly of where you stand, right? And how things are supposed to work. So also the elephant in the room. What is this? Hover over a comment, click the three dots, add as moderator. Are you clicking on the StreamYard or on the click on? You got to go to the YouTube page and click on the chat there.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
Sorry, everybody. I totally missed that. So I just got to open up another window, go to YouTube, you click that.
Yep. Go to the actual page where it's playing live and then go to that live chat and then you'll be able to click it.
Well, while I do that, keep talking, John. Let me go ahead and figure this thing out right quick.
So Terrian versus Bradford. Now, John Terrian, his money arm is the right. David Bradford's money arm is the left. If it was left hand, I'm not so sure it would be a great match. I think Terrian would still put up a good fight, but I would definitely give it to Bradford. Right hand though, like Terrian is used to pulling at 176 to 200, and I think he's going to be 210 or somewhere abouts. So he is coming in bigger than he's ever been in his arm wrestling life. Bradford, another one of those guys like James Beach, where he's chiseled out of stone, right? He's got muscles coming out of his ears. He's far too good looking for his own good. It's unfair. And the guy knows how to arm wrestle, right? He knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants to do. Both of them are high energy.
That dude got muscles in places where people don't have places.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
He's a rock hard dude who's just been doing hard ass work for his life, you know, and there's just not a little bit of give in him. Also very, very good dude. Very nice dude. So this match, I'm obviously rooting for the Canadians. I'm on Team Canada here, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Yeah. Yeah. It's this match. Another one that I think could really steal it. It could really steal the whole thing. And then we got the last match on the card, which I'm not so sure if this is going to be the main event or not, but it's going to be a damn good match. Alan Ford versus James Wall. Oh my!
I can tell you that what makes me excited about this match is the simple fact that, again, the eye test. You would think, oh, Alan Ford, yeah, hey, you bit off more you can chew because, you know, James Wall is built like a brick house, a thick wall. However, do not, and I'm going to say it again at the 1 hour and 1 minute mark, do not overestimate the hitman, okay?
Yeah. He's a guy where you just look at Alan, like if you just glance at him, you're walking by him in the street, you're just gonna be like, oh, he's just a dude, right? He's just a dude.
Right.
You'd be wrong. This is a guy who has a winning record against RVJ on the right arm, for God's sake. Right? This
is like a guy who works at a bank.
Yeah, he's the one signing loans. That's what he's doing, right? That's what you think. But Alan Ford is one of Canada's greatest arm wrestlers. Really, really has a great track record. He's been in and out, but right now, let me tell you, he's in. He's in right now. He's very strong. He's very fast. Now, James Wall, like you said, just freaking, he's a tank. He's a wall. That's why he's called that. I freaking saw this guy when I was in the UK at Paul Maiden's gym, Club Torture. James Wall was there. He takes off his shirt, and I swear to God, if you put Arnold's head on him and made Arnold Schwarzenegger shorter, that's what he would look like. The guy is a specimen.
Did you know, when I was in England earlier this year, and we all went out for a bite to eat, you know, me and Neil and Tyrion and just, you know, Holtzman, Dalgases, and, you know, Wall was part of that group, but we're all, you know, Tom Holland, we're all hanging out. And I shit you not, John, the guy could take off his shirt, right? And you can just, you know, it's a movie projector on his back. You can watch a movie. Like that's how,
he's got wings that would allow him to fly away, more or less. And man, and on top of that, he's young and he just keeps getting better, right? He had that match that he lost to BLM. It was a ridiculous match, right? Ridiculous back and forth and up and down and right and left. And oh my God, I think this is the 100 kg Commonwealth belt on the right arm. And this is a classic
220 matchup. Still boggles my mind because he must be a relative of Dorian Yates. I swear to God, you know, like
the genetics on the guy, unmatched, ridiculous.
Yeah.
But the question is, you know, like if you take a big, slow-moving sledgehammer to James Wall, you might not get through, right? That's a thick wall. But Alan Ford doesn't have a sledgehammer. He's got a laser beam, okay? And that's the thing. Alan Ford is going to, the way I look at this is that Alan Ford is going to need to poke holes in James Wall. He's going to have to find the weaknesses and attack them early, often, and as quickly as possible. Because Alan Ford certainly has the speed advantage, and James Wall certainly has the power advantage, in my opinion. Now, if you ask Evan Burgoyne, Evan will be like, oh, no, Alan's got the power too. I don't believe that. Alan is powerful. Alan can hang, but I don't think it's going to be enough against James.
It's the speed kills, strength punishes scenario.
Yeah.
If I may say that.
That's exactly what it is. Obviously, I'm rooting for Alan Ford in this one, but again, kudos to Marcus and Paul Maiden. Maybe just Marcus, because Paul Maiden's a dingus. But Alan Ford versus James Wall is a hell of a matchup. And honestly, a lot of these matches are really good, and they're so close that it really could go either way. And not all of them may, but I can't make that. I don't know. And that's what makes it so exciting is because I really, truly don't know. It could end up being a steamroll one way or the other. It could be half and half. It could be a very, very back and forth type of thing. And I hope it is, because when you have the UK winning some, and then Canada wins, the UK wins, Canada wins, that increases the heat.
If I'm going to make a suggestion or a prediction, I should say, it's this. If Alan Ford wants to win this match, he has to keep James's hand and wrist straight.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, that's a wrap. Thank you. Don't forget to tip your waitress. Get home safe.
Yeah. James Wall, once he attains the cup, bad times.
It's like a magnet. You know how you get those magnets where all of a sudden you just like that? That's what that cup is like.
Yes.
Just messing around with him. Yeah. Like, what the fuck, you know? So
yeah, it's incredible. Yeah. It's incredible. So 14 matches overall, each one of them more ridiculous than the last. Of course, we got Aussie arm wrestler who's going to be doing commentary. I'll be jumping and doing some commentary as well, I'm sure, as soon as my match is over. Right. We've got the setup is going to be ridiculous. There's going to be all sorts of content coming out before, during, and after the event. So stay tuned on the ArmGods channel, my channel, Aussie Arm Wrestlers channel, Beer Man's channel. We'll all be putting stuff out. And here's the deal. There's going to be a lot of stuff that is not going to be able to be put on YouTube because it's just not safe for your life, right? So if you want to see all that stuff, you got to go to armgods.com. You want to see all these matches, armgods.com. It's a measly $5 for this event, and then a full month of membership as well.
Now, to let everybody know out there, you have to be a member in order to get the pay-per-view, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And the membership is that's the $5 or £5. I can't remember exactly.
Right. There you go.
So once you're a member, you get access to the live events, and it's a dedicated streaming platform that they have. It's all through their own website, and you'll be able to see everything from there. And I'm just telling you, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna because this is there will be many a drinks being had, right? I'm very focused for my match. I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna get work done, and then the party will be on, right? The party will be happening.
The thing is, though, what makes it unique is that you can go to ArmGods event, and all of a sudden, you may see a beer getting blasted over someone's head.
Yeah.
You may see somebody propose,
right?
Have a wedding or whatever. So you never know.
It's all been done.
You never know.
Well, and here's the thing. There are all sorts of ways to enjoy arm wrestling. I love watching all different types of arm wrestling. ArmGods is its own unique thing. You can't say that it's a different version of this or that or the other thing. It is something unto itself. It is high on entertainment. It is high on action, and it is high on, well, it's probably just high as well. But the nonsense that will be happening is going to be intense. So again, anybody that's watching this, that's in the Ontario, Quebec area, if you're within 8 hours, for God's sake, you got to come do it, because there's going to be all sorts of pulling going on. And honestly, if you want to become involved with ArmGods, the best way to do it is to get out there and make yourself known. The guy that I'm pulling, the Candyman, when I pulled Mitch Tutt, he was just another guy in the crowd, right? He was a fan in the crowd. He had just started arm wrestling. A year later, boom, he's got a match. He's got a big match, right?
Wow. And you know what? I might just sit there and go, hey, Marcus, if Uncle John can pull these strongmen, who's to say I can't go over there and sink my teeth into somebody like Mark Felix?
Ooh. Man, that's a scary match. That's a scary dude right there.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I know. I mean, I'm just joking, but still, you never know. But never say never. But
March 17th.
That's
anything can happen.
I will say this though, because once I finish my obligations this year, I got 2 matches left, and you and I were talking about that, and we'll chat about this once this show is done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. What's in store for me in 2024? I don't know. The first thing I said was like, all right, IFA Worlds was in Greece.
Mm-hmm.
That's, late September, early October, about a year from now. That's in Greece. So that's on the bucket list. And I know my wife was like, done, we're going. Okay.
Nice.
Who knows? I mean, right now it's just that. So I'll have to sit there and just kind of like, weigh my options, that kind of stuff. I know that there's Monster Factory talking to Michael Rebecca. They want me back. Neil wants me back. So, I mean, I get all that. And I've never done an ArmGods, so I don't know how that goes. I mean, seeing it in its entirety is one thing. Being a part of it, I can't imagine. John, you've been watching Arm Wars for how long? And the minute you got there live, you're like, oh, shit, okay.
Yeah, it's different. It was different.
Yeah, exactly. So who knows? You never know where Chocolate Thunder would be. You never know. Hell, Uncle John, Chocolate Thunder, who knows? You never know. Hell, and I'm just throwing shit out there. What's the theme? Candyman, Chocolate Thunder.
Oh,
I'm just throwing shit out there.
I like it. I like it.
How about this? Wouldn't it be funny? And we ain't got to do this in March of next year. You know what would be funny? If for some reason I got invited to do something like that, all of a sudden, let's see, Chocolate Thunder, Candyman, Halloween. This is my WWE brain going to work. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I ain't the one trying to tell people what to do, but I'm just kind of going, damn, that'd be kind of cool. Because for me, when it's all said and done, I want to be able to have that talk and go, hey, I've been there. That was awesome. Yeah. I've been there, had a good time, and so on and so on. So, yeah. Well, you see that right there?
Right? Chocolate covered Candyman. Well, that's part of, why I like to support ArmGods, and that's why I like to pull at ArmGods, is because ArmGods understands that arm wrestling can be more than the WAF style, right? I think that's fine. It's not for me, right? The stuffy WAF, the walk up, shake your opponent's hand, arm wrestle, leave. I'm not really interested in that as an arm wrestler. But I never want to take that away from anybody, right? If that's what you enjoy, by all means, get on it. Go and grip and rip and do the whole thing.
It offers all these organizations. I've always said this. It offers something for somebody, because not everybody can be a part of East vs. West. I know I wouldn't. Yeah. I know you probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, let the elites do that. I enjoy watching them. I root for them. I watch it because I'm not an elite arm wrestler. So let those guys do that.
Yep.
My personality would fit Arm Wars. Done it.
Yep.
My personality will fit probably ArmGods. I can do that too if I need to.
For sure.
So yeah, I mean, I get all that. So I mean,
yeah,
it's
man.
Good. It's good.
Well, it's a good time to be an arm wrestler. It's a good time to be us right now because there are more options. There are more things. There's more places that we can go, more things that we can do. And thank God. Thank God that this silly sport that we got ourselves trapped into is finally starting to kick off a little bit, allowing us to have some fun.
Ireland
I'm pumped.
is March 17th, and Marcus says, in Wales in June, huh?
Yep.
What part of Wales?
I don't know. I would like to go to Wales as well. I've never been to Wales. Interesting. All I know is that there is a possibility that I'm still going to have a surgery late next year for my back, and I'm going to arm wrestle as much as I possibly can.
Right.
Yeah, this Marcus says it, right? They all have their thing, but ArmGods is about entertainment, paying fan to come to the event, party. Most of our fans here don't even really like arm wrestling, right? And that's the thing. It can grab people because 99% of the world likes a party, right? Mm-hmm. And if we can grab some of those people that don't know much about arm wrestling, bring them in and say, hey, guess what? We're going to party, and you're going to see some ridiculous guys arm wrestle, and you're going to have a time like you've never had in your life. And that is a guarantee, signed, sealed, and delivered.
Right. Well, I tell you what, anything else you want to add before we put a bow tie? Because you and I got to talk shop after this.
Yeah, here's what I'll add. Go to armgods.com. Get yourself the membership. That's where everything is happening. Buy some tickets if you're in the area. And Candyman, I hope you're ready, buddy. You are just the wrong guy at the wrong time, because you're not going to get Uncle John, who's all happy and giggly. You're going to get a very mean man. And I do not have any give in me for this one. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. It's going to be very quick because I want to start drinking.
Yeah. See, Cricky gets it, I mean, like I said, when you go across us North Americans, when you go across the pond, and even Sarah said this earlier, it's a whole different idea. Now that I have an idea how that works out, the next time I do go, I'm going to prepare differently. So
100%. I'm excited for these guys, the UK guys, to come over here and see how they fare when they have to go into the different time zone. And it'll be a 5-hour differential for most of them. So it'll be interesting to see how it affects them.
It's fun. Well, my friend, it's been an hour and 17 minutes of good information. I love it. I'm glad you're getting ready for it. You got another training session left in you, or no?
I think I'm done for today. I've been on 2-a-days for quite a while now, and I'll keep up with the cardio. I'm a big proponent of cardio to keep the endurance high. But now it's a lot of just bands, repetitions to get the blood flow in there. But most of the work is done. The work is done, and I don't have any. I'm not worried. I don't have any wishes that I would have done things differently, or, oh man, I really should have trained harder. I couldn't have. Right. I couldn't have trained harder. So, it was, I'm injury free. There's just the typical little bumps and bruises and things that you always have. But I think over the next week, so we got 8 days, and I think I'm going to be a very dangerous human walking into it. And I'm very excited for guys like Marcus to see me for the first time since they saw me last time at like 220 pounds, because I think I've added about 15 pounds in my shoulders alone. And
I saw them things. I'm like, somebody didn't cut a bowling ball in half and slap them bad boys on here. It was like, man.
Yeah.
So
it's a different dude. It's a different dude right now.
There you go. Well, everybody, don't forget next Saturday. So arm wrestling is going to be good because you got this Saturday.
King of the Table.
We got King of the Table. Next Saturday, ArmGods Deuce. And I'm telling you, it just keeps getting better and better. And then I get to invade Canada October 7th. Yes, nice. Sir. I get to go whip some ass over there. So
I wish I could have made it to that one, but I'm moving. I'm moving over that time.
Yes, Marcus, you're welcome for covering all the matches. So, there's times where I think, and maybe because ArmGods doesn't get as much publicity as people may think if you don't subscribe to their channel, sometimes it can kind of be underneath the rug because of all the other bigger events, and I get that. But yeah, I'm all arm wrestling fans, so yes, when I get a chance to do all that, let's break down matches, let's get this thing done. So, you know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, Uncle John, please stay on the line. Everybody, thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day and have an awesome weekend.